We're up on the Bob Carey Bridge today. We're not in the shop, and we're going to be talking about recalls. We've heard about recalls in the past where an auto manufacturer has a safety problem, and they'll recall that vehicle, bring it into their dealerships, and get it fixed for free. But did you know sometimes a vehicle in Iowa might have their repairs done for free on a recall, whereas a vehicle in Nebraska does not? That's called a regional recall, and we're going to talk about that. But first, let's take a look at recalls in general and see how they work. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA for short, is a governmental organization that does things such as crash testing and working with automakers to ensure that vehicles meet safety guidelines. NHTSA also receives complaints from motorists who have safety concerns about their vehicle. When NHTSA has multiple reports of a safety problem with a certain type of vehicle, it will investigate. If the results of that investigation indicate that a serious safety concern exists, or if the manufacturer has already identified a problem, the automakers will usually voluntarily recall the vehicle and repair the problem at no cost to the consumer. When a normal recall is issued, it covers every vehicle across the country, no matter where you live. But a regional recall is different, and depending on which state you live in, you could be left out. Regional recalls are issued by the automakers when a safety problem is caused by something that only happens in certain parts of the country. Like a heat-related recall that's issued because a certain part fails in extreme heat of a state such as Arizona. The logic being used on a regional recall is that a part that's failing due to conditions in one state might not be failing in a different state with different conditions. Here's where Iowa and Nebraska come into the mix on regional recalls. NHTSA and the automakers have states that they consider snowbelt states, and that's where they put a lot of salt down on the streets in the wintertime. Now, believe it or not, Iowa is considered a snowbelt state, and Nebraska is not. So in Iowa, corrosion-related safety issues are covered under a regional recall, whereas in Nebraska, they're not. And that can get pretty expensive to do some of these safety-related repairs, even hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But if you've got a problem that's a regional recall that's been issued in Iowa, don't be afraid if you're in Nebraska to go to the dealer and see if they might cover that, even though technically you're out of the state. Take your best shot and just lay it all right on the line. For Channel 6 News, I'm Jim Champion, the Auto Guy.